Hi guys, welcome back to Python based data science series. In today's session, we'll be discussing about how we can integrate our Python application with MySql. MySql is a popular database we are using, which is governed by Oracle. My backend plays a very vital role in the application. Whatever data input and manipulative data we can store into the database. We need to install MySql. So you Google out MySql community downloads or MySql software. Then you reach to the official website of MySql. You can select your operating systems. I'm having Windows 10, so I'm selecting Microsoft Windows. There are two options to download here, MSI installer or here 64-bit x86 64-bit Windows installer. So I'll recommend this complete full download from your side. Once you complete this complete download, there is a setup file will be downloaded to your machine, and you double hit on it, and then you will install MySql server. In case of MySql server, the main thing what you need to install, that is MySql command line client and MySql workbench. We'll be discussing about the MySql workbench, that is UI based database management. But right now in today's session, we'll be installing MySql, we'll be configuring MySql to connect with the Python, and how we can create the database, how we can create the tables, how we can execute the queries and insert data into it. So by downloading and installing, you can install your MySql server. While installing MySql server, you have to assign a username as a root and a password as any password you want. Here in my case, I had given a password Sushil at Axiom. So this is you can give it any password to it. Let us, after installation, let us connect to MySql now. Here, after successfully installations, I am having MySql 8 command line client over here. If I click on this, here it will ask you for the password. So you can enter the password Sushil at Axiom, and you will SQL prompt will be open. Here it means it proves that MySql is successfully installed in your system. Now if you can fire the SQL commands like show databases and semicolon, it will show all the databases available. I just recently created the database by the name of Axiom, and these are the default databases available with the MySql. Let us switch to the database which I create. For that reason, you have a command called as use Axiom. Now it switched to the Axiom database. I want to know all the tables available in the Axiom, so I will show tables. It will show all the tables available in the database. Now I want to know the all number of records available in the table called as students. I will fire a SQL query, select star from students. Here these all the records available over here. Now guys, I haven't created database table or the data entry from the SQL prompt. Now what we need to do, we need to create the Python application and through that application, whatever data we'll input, we'll able to create the database, we should able to create the tables, and we should able to insert the data into database. In today's session, we'll be discussing this also. Firstly, the first step we overcome, that is installing MySQL software. For installing MySQL software, you go to the official site, download the setup and run it. The main requirement is MySQL client and command line client and MySQL workbench. If workbench is also not available, not a problem. If you, after installations, you go to the MySQL command line client, and you can check how you can create database and all. After successfully installing MySQL for machine, now the next thing what you have to do, you have to go to the command prompt. You need another software that is called as MySQL connector for Python. You can search for MySQL connector and MySQL connector for Python, and then otherwise you can use this command. You go to the command prompt and type a command pip install MySQL connector, MySQL/connector, and enter. As this MySQL connector is already installed, so I am not installing it. What you need to do, you need to go to the command prompt, or you can go to the official website of pip install MySQL connector, pip install MySQL connector Python, and then you can install this. We are having two ways. One is command based. You should go to the command prompt and type pip install MySQL -connector. After successfully installing that, then the next command is pip install MySQL connector /Python -Python. So it will install MySQL connector and MySQL connector for Python, so that now your Visual source code Python will be configured with the MySQL. So the step first, install MySQL for the command line. Second, install MySQL connector for Python, and after that, then you get back to your coding. Now your MySQL connector is installed, MySQL is installed. Now get back to the Visual Code and create a database over here. Okay, now the first thing what we need to learn, how to create a database. So what I will do, I'll use a command import MySQL.connector. We just recently installed pip install MySQL connector, pip install MySQL connector -Python. Now import MySQL connector and create the instance of it, MySQL connector.connect. There is a method called as connect, MySQL connector and connect. It requires 3 arguments. Host. Now when we develop a web-based application, host will be the web server. You may give the complete path like 192.168 and like, okay, that web-based database. But right now this MySQL is running on a local machine, so host equals to localhost, user equal to root, the user of your MySQL server you created, that is by default, that is called as root. And the password, I said you must compulsory give the password to your database. That password you have to specify over here. So by specifying these 3 things, the host, localhost, user, root, and the password which you had given while installing MySQL server, you create the instance of it and store somewhere. So here I am using a variable called as database, which will connect to this localhost, root, and after assigning the password over here. So you can, it's a user defined variable, and this is the predefined method MySQL connector.connect. So it will connect to this specific MySQL server with this specification. So database is a variable now. So database.cursor means now it will, cursor is a method, now it will referring to that particular MySQL. And then I create the instance that is called as cursor object, right? Cursor object is actually means to whichever connection, we establish the connection. Firstly we establish the connection by specifying localhost, username and password, and on that established connection, cursor means the position, on that established connection we need to create the database. Then we can use cursor object. Now cursor object, database, these are user defined, but this cursor method, okay, execute method, these are the predefined. So cursor object equal to database dot cursor means like current data, current where connection it is referring to, and then we are using cursor object dot execute create database axiom. Now here I want to create a database by the name of axiom. If you want to create a database by the different, as we already gone through that, there was the axiom database which was already available. So I created database by using this code. You can create any other database by the name of any friend's name, or like, okay, you want to make a list of the manage the database of employee or any other things. Hope you understand this. If I execute this code, it will establish the connection with the MySQL by specifying localhost, root, and this is the password, and then it will create the database by the name of axiom. Now whether this database is available after successfully running this code, okay, you go to the SQL command prompt, and then you can use show database. Here right now we are in the same database, so we'll use exit firstly, and then go to the it will ask you to enter password. I am entering Sushil at axiom. It will verify the password and give me the SQL command prompt. If I say show databases, this is the command I am firing. It will show after successfully executing this code. After import MySQL.connector, MySQL.connector.connect, you have to specify the things and create database. Cursor object.execute create database axiom. If you provide another name, it will create a database by that name. But let us create the database now by the axiom. So axiom database is available now. Now if you want to switch to that database, you have to use axiom. So you will be switched to that particular database. The first step, create the database. After creating the database, now it's time to create the table. So this is the code for creating table. Again, import MySQL connector. I am defining a function called as create table. Database equals to MySQL.connector.connect. Now I am going to add one another thing, because now you have to add a database to the add a table to the database. So host equal to localhost, user equal to root, password equal to Sushil at axiom. You have to specify your own password, and database equals to axiom, because database we successfully created, and in that database we have to create the table now. Then here cursor equal to database.cursor, that database to which we are referring to, the cursor will be referred to that. Then table name equals to, we'll build the query. Table name equals to create table student. We'll toggle word wrap. So the query will be create table student name. This is the field name, varchar, comma, roll number, integer. So here, let me show you the complete command. Here it is. Create table student. This is the field name, varchar 255. Now 255 is the maximum limit of a set of characters. Whenever you are going with a alphanumeric field like a name, address, surname, then you have to prefer varchar. Roll number is integer type of data. Maximum limit is 10. Means you can go up to the 10 digits data for the, means like in the student table I am having a name and roll number. These two fields I am creating. Now cursor dot execute table name. You can directly write a query over here. So this cursor will create a table name and this will create a table name for it, and this function is going to return the value. So whenever you give a call to the create table, it will establish connections with the local host, user, password and database, and then there is a method called as execute and then create table student. Okay, by the execute table, if you can process the query create table student and the field names what you required, name, roll number, subject marks, whatever. Right now I'm, for the sample reasons, I'm creating a table by the name of student having two fields, name as a varchar 255 and roll number as an integer, and then I'll give a call to that and I'll give the message student table is created. After successfully creating a database and then creating a table, now it's time to insert the data into database. So here now the code is just similar. First of all, you have to establish the connection. MySql connector connect localhost, root and the database. Then set the cursor and then name, roll number, values, and then whatever the values you are supposed to insert. Right? So here now execute like these two parameters over there. SQL means insert into table name the fields, values, and then specify the values, and then MySql this execute method will execute this SQL command and insert the data into database, and commit will confirm the insert, and then my cursor dot row count, it will prompt you how many rows are inserted. Here in this case we are inserting only one record. So when you execute this particular thing, create the database, create the table, and now insert a single record in it. For inserting single record, you have to build a query, insert into students, and then that values, and then pass on the values over here. If you execute this query and it will insert this record, and then commit means it will confirm that insert, and then it will print the message my cursor dot row count, how many rows are affected or inserted over here. Now let us discuss how we can insert the multiple records at a time. Now here the rest things will be as it is. Now we are just changing the query. Instead of single record, in the value you make a list. Okay, that number of records you want to insert, manage the list over here, and then instead of using a query called as execute, you have to use execute many. Execute many will insert n number of records at a time into the table, and then database commit. This will give you how many number of rows are inserted, and then if you and then database.close will close the database. In today's session, I am discussing about how we can create the database, how we can create the table, how we can insert a single record, and how we can insert the multiple records. And this everything we have to do using Python based coding. Now, the step number 1 in Python, establish the connection. MySql connector.connect method is there. There you have to pass on the arguments. While creating database, you have to pass on the arguments that host, user, and the password. When the database is successfully created, first of all you have to use a method, use a SQL command called as create database, and then you have to specify the database. Cursor will go to that, will refer to the reference of that particular MySQL connection, and then you can execute the query in it. Create the database, create the table, insert a record, insert multiple records. To summarize, we need to install MySQL server, then we need to install MySQL server connector, then you need to go to the MySQL command prompt and then check whether the database is created on. Now you have to build a Python code because you have to perform that all the operations through Python. So by using this connection to connect and execute the queries, you can create the database, you can create the tables, you can insert a record, and you can insert the multiple records over here. Now in this manner, finally you are in the exam. Now if you say show tables, you list out all the tables over there. If you go to the select, if you use a command select star from student, that all the records which I inserted will be displayed over here. Hope you enjoyed this session. Just install MySQL and try performing creating database and insert the records in it. Thank you.